it's Jason. Welcome back to Hardy Life Outdoors and welcome to the Darn Barn. If this is your first time tuning in, I am in Southern Ohio and have property out down here that I spend a lot of time in the outdoors. And one of the things I've got going on right now is I'm planning, not quite building yet, my next deer blind. I do a lot of hunting, and one of the things that I want is a comfortable blind that gets me out of the elements. So if it's, this is primarily for gun hunting, it gets me out of the snow, the rain, the wind, and I want it to be big enough that I can sit in there with somebody. So I've got one out there, and it was the first box blind I'd ever built. For the most part, I'm happy with it, but one of the things that I did with that was I decided to make my own windows out of plexiglass. And I have since looked into other options, and I decided I would do a video and just talk about some of the different options. I hear people talk about, what I've got here in front of me are DeerView windows, and a lot of people have a lot of good things to say about the DeerView windows. But everybody seems to have, differing opinions about single pane, double pane, plexiglass, glass versus plastic. So I want to talk about my experience. And one of the things that I did was I ordered two different types of windows from DeerView. So these are their windows that are completely framed. They are hinged, a really, really nice window. It's kind of their premier window. And then I also have these windows that are not framed, that just go on a hinge. I'm going to use these to replace the plexiglass that is in the current box blind. So I figured since I have the different types, I would talk about them. Other thing I did, this is a window that's got their smoked glass. There's another window here that's got clear glass. Not a whole lot of difference between them, but I thought I would talk about those as well. So if you're thinking about building a blind and you're trying to decide what to do for windows, hang around. I'm going to tell you, give you my opinion anyway. So before we get started, I'm going to pack these into the side-by-side, and we're going to head out to the box blind so I can show you what's out there, and we'll talk about these windows from the box blind. So let's go. All right, this is it. This is a 6x6. I put it on a 6x8 platform so that I would have a little bit of a porch out there. One of the things I see a lot of people debating, and maybe I'll do a video on that later, is whether to do steps or a ladder. You can see in the back I've got a step ladder that I'm using because I just haven't got around to building steps, and frankly, the step ladder has worked. But we'll go up inside, take a look around, and talk about the windows that are in there, which are plexiglass, what's worked, what maybe I'd like to do different, and we'll talk about the replacement that I'm doing with the DeerView windows. Okay, we'll start off here. I apologize, there's going to be a little bit of an echo in here, but first I'll let you see my view out this really nice area to watch. Right down here is a food plot. Nice place to sit and watch. So the windows are plexiglass, and one of the things that I wanted when I started building this was nice large windows. I wanted to be able to see out really well and have plenty of daylight. In retrospect, I want these windows smaller. So as I put in the DeerView windows, I am going to make these windows smaller. They're going to be about 12 inches. 12 inches tall instead of the current height. And I honestly don't know what the current height is. But when I was building these, I decided to go with plexiglass. I felt like from a cost standpoint, that was my best option. One of the comments I've heard about plexiglass a couple comments. One, every time you clean it, it's going to scratch. These windows are, geez, 3 or 4 years old now, and they look as good as new as far as I'm concerned. I don't look and see scratches on them. They're in really good shape. I struggled to cut them, so I took them to a hardware store and I had them cut them for me. I think I paid, $1 or $2 per cut. I also had, I bought hinges, small hinges, and I was able to drill the holes for hinges no problem without cracking the plexiglass. And the hinges have worked really well. To keep my windows closed, I just have a small piece of wood there that slides in and out of the way, so I can fold that up and the window's open. One of the things to realize as you are building windows and they're going to flip up is whatever the size of your window is, the travel of that window is going to be 2 times that. So if you have a 12-inch window, the travel's 24 inches. If you have an 18-inch window, it's going to be 36 inches. And what that does is if you're opening these manually, it creates a lot of movement that the deer can see. So that's one of the reasons that I want to shrink these windows, is I don't want all that movement. The other thing, let me grab this window. We'll open it up. And now I got to reach up there. I've got a hook up there that I turn that will keep that window open for me. It's worked well, but again, it causes some movement to get it latched. So we'll lower this back. So those are a couple of the issues. The opening, the fact that people say they scratch. I've not had that. I've not experienced scratches. The other thing is people say with a single pane window or with plexiglass, you're going to get the window frosting because of the difference in temperature on the outside versus the inside, and you'll get a lot of moisture. I use propane heat. I use a little buddy heater, and there are times that I will get a little bit of condensation. What I do, I keep some paper towels in here. I wipe it off. It's really not a big deal. When I hunt, I like to have the windows open as much as possible. Sitting here in the blind, I'm out of the rain, I'm out of the snow, I'm out of the wind. As long as I don't have windows open on opposite sides, I don't get a lot of wind blowing through the blind. If you're worried about scent control, that's a different issue. Where I'm sitting, I'm not worried about my scent during gun week blowing way down into the field, so I don't worry about that. But I've not dealt with frost. Condensation has not been a major issue. So my 2 cents is, if you are thinking about plexiglass, I don't have any reason why I would say you should not use plexiglass. These have worked well, no problem, but I am swapping them out just because I wanted to shrink the windows, and I thought it'd be a good time to try out the DeerView blind, DeerView windows. So that's my 2 cents on plexiglass. Okay, so now the DeerView window replacements that I have. You can see I've got it propped up there. It's going to make my window significantly smaller, it's what I'm after. Shrink down some of that daylight coming in and the ability for deer to see my movement. But, it fits. It's designed to fit on the outside edge of the window. I'm going to have to shrink the size of the window to make it, fit the way I want. But it's going to make for a real nice window. It makes it real easy for me to retrofit this. With it being on the inside of the window, it'll give me a nice tight fit to keep the air and water out. They do include, with the packaging, these are the brackets that are going to mount right here, and that's what your window is going to pivot on. And then they also provided these locks so that you can get the window nice and tight and keep it closed. So the only thing they didn't include that I would have liked to have had was magnets, so that when I open it all the way, it clicks in and stays open. But now that I have this thing in place, I'm really looking forward to shrinking down the size of these windows, reworking them, and installing the DeerView. I think it's going to be a real nice upgrade to this blind. So my perspective on these, very nice. I've not built with the other ones yet, so I'll have to decide what I think of those and whether they're worth the additional cost. But what I see in these, I like. So we'll get back out here and swap these windows here soon. Okay, I brought these windows out as well. These are the higher end windows, and I'm realizing there was really no reason to bring these out here because there's not much to show you from inside the blind. The thing you're going to get with these is it's going to give you a much nicer finished look. If you look at the windows up here, now granted, some of that's my carpentry, you know, I could trim those windows out and make them look nice. But what you're going to get here is this edge is going to potentially overlap your siding, depending on whether you install it before or after your siding. You could certainly have your siding lap over this if you wanted to, which the reality is if you do that, you're probably going to get better drainage of water so that you don't drain water behind. As I think about it, I will install with my siding on the outside. A couple things I noticed, it does have what I believe are weep holes, so that if you get water behind it, it's going to allow that water out. I think I might have shown you these. There are 2 latches on it, so when you unlock it, that's going to keep the window closed nice and tight, allows it to open and close a full 180 degrees. Actually, it'll go over 180, but with a wall, you're not going to get that. But nice, quiet movement. All in all, this is a really nice, well put together window. There is a magnet here in the middle, so when you open it, it's going to click onto something at the top so that you've got a magnet. I have not done this to know, does it make a loud click? Do I need to put something over top of it, some material, so that it doesn't click quite so loud? But we'll test that out later. But all in all, looks very nice. One thing that I noticed that I was kind of surprised at is it's not pre-drilled for installation. So I kind of would have expected them to pre-drill for install, but I'm sure there's some reason why they don't. The last thing, if you're going to use these windows, one of the things you need to understand is how you frame your windows on the inside is going to make a difference. With standard 2x4 framing, if you frame it like this with the a box, you're not going to have your windows open a full 180. So you can frame like this, and the hinge is designed so that it opens out and up, so you have plenty of clearance. The only side where you need to worry about that is the top, where the hinge, where it opens. So you can have your standard 2x4 framing on the outsides. It's just the top that has to be hinged this way. Just to give you a quick look at what that looks like. With the window all the way open, you got plenty of clearance for that window. If you do it this way, your window is not going to open all the way. So just a word of warning, make sure you frame out your windows correctly for these windows. And they talk about that on the website, but if you miss it, you'll be reframing windows. So anyway, I am pretty impressed with these. Having had that window up there and played with it a little bit, I am very much looking forward to swapping these windows out and getting the DeerViews in. I mentioned this is the clear window. I do have a smoked one. There's not a lot of difference between them. So while I haven't hunted them in the evenings, I would have no concern about loss of daylight due to having the smoked windows. So if you want the smoke to cut down on some of the light that's coming in, I would definitely say go with that. I did check all my windows, and remember the old adage, measure twice, cut once. Well, I don't know that I measured twice, so I've got a window that doesn't quite fit. I'm gonna be able to make it work, but anyway, make sure you're careful in how you measure them. So that is my thoughts on the DeerView. From a delivery, it is April. I ordered these, and delivery came relatively quickly. So I'd say plan ahead for your windows. It wouldn't hurt to have your windows on site when you're building, so that you can properly frame everything to fit the windows. You've got them right there to know. So it's raining. Need to get my camera out of the rain. Thanks for joining. Keep in mind, outdoors is always in season. If you got questions about these windows, leave me a comment. Thanks. Have a good one.